Hello, let's start by talking about how is the pandemic affecting trade. Since 2020, we have noticed a considerable decrease in trade in the regions as a result of the pandemic. In the reading, we are shown the prediction of 6 international institutions on the reduction of trade flows due to COVID pressure on economic activities. The cells with two values show the optimistic and pessimistic forecast. As we can see in the table, the most pessimistic prediction is in the IIEP with minus 24%, and the one with the least pessimistic outlook is the WTO in 2020, and with a limited recovery we have the World Bank in 2021, and in second place the OECD. In the second part, I am going to talk about what is happening in trade logistics. COVID-19 has affected global trade through supply and demand barriers, through trade relations between countries that are connected. COVID has affected trade to be able to supply goods and services. On the supply side, this affected, for example, by border closures or international movement restrictions. With this, export and import has been affected, and the movement of goods across borders has decreased. The pandemic has also forced the closure of companies and industries that were part of the supply chain for many products. The consequences of this is the fall in the prices of major raw materials. As an example, we can see this graph. These are data from the WTO of October 8, 2020, and we can already see the difference and the drop in numbers. In this part, I am going to talk about whether it's right to cope with the economic recovery by increasing inventories in the supply chain. I think it's right. Increasing inventories in supply chains can help to temporary growth of the trade with the recovery. In recent decades, companies' operating strategy has focused on cost reductions and efficiency gains. With other factors, a reduction in input and output inventories has been achieved in a number of companies in several countries. The shortage of input reduced the sales cycle and thus the response time to the crisis, increasing the financial damage of COVID. Then it's likely that companies evaluate risk points. Operational risk management strategies may change with the objective of adding time to respond to exogenous factors. Some companies may choose to increase inventory and manage to increase demand for related goods to pre-pandemic levels. And finally, I am going to talk about the pros and cons of innovation in times of crisis. The innovation in times of crisis conference is very optimistic and actually leaves many positive ideas regarding the management of the crisis as an opportunity for innovation. It's up to each one to choose if they see this crisis as an opportunity for change or innovation, or if they see it's a barrier. But Alejandra talks about a new approach to innovation, and it's important to mention is through 4 phases. First, the strategy, second, structure, third, speed, and finally, opportunities. From this, organizations and corporations can move forward. But the problem is that not all countries and, for example, not all corporations and institutions have the same capacity to execute ideas due to lack of economic or logistical means, and this is why progress and advancement is not equal for all, and inequality continues to increase. Thank you, teacher, for your attention.